Microsoft pivot tables for Excel have always been exciting and interesting to use. In 2010, they've added some new options, and one of them is a slicer. So in order to use the slicer, what you do is you go to the Options tab, and this is going to allow me to filter my data without actually having to add that item to the pivot table. So you'll notice here I've got some basic pivot table information. I'm going to put the customer name in my row label, so I've got a list of my customers over here, and I'm going to put the sales amount over in the right hand side in the values column. Now, normally this would kind of be a lot of data and it doesn't really give me too much information, but what I can do is apply slicers, any number of slicers, and it will show me how the data has been filtered. So in order to turn on a slicer, what I have to do is go up under my PivotTables tools to the Options tab. From there, I'm going to go over under Sort and Filter, and I'm going to go into Insert a Slicer. I'm just going to click on the Insert a Slicer button. And then I can pick which items I want to add a slicer for. So maybe I want to know the salesperson, the market, the region, and maybe even I want to be able to sort by the quarterly data here. Once I've got these four selected, I can click OK. And what it does is it opens up all of the slicers. Now I can rearrange them. So maybe if I put this up here and I've got my region over here, and I'm going to drag this one down here. So now I can begin to look at my data and I can say, okay, I want to know what's going on in the Americas. I click on Americas, and what it does is it filters the other slicers, so it's showing only data that's relevant to this region. So you'll notice I can see the countries that are in the Americas, I can see the salespeople that work there, and all of their quarterly data is available. If I want, I can see only what's happened in the third quarter for these environments, and it changes the sales figures to match the third quarter data. Now when I want to clear a slicer, all I have to do is click on the X and click on the X here to clear the filter, and you'll notice I'm back to just all my data. Maybe I want to filter by sales rep. Maybe I want to come down and filter by Jerry. Once I filter by Jerry, you'll notice he's in the southern US and the region is United States. So I can begin to go in and filter in a more visual way without adding the columns that I would need to add to my pivot table. Again, this is called a slicer. It's under the Options tab, and you go to Insert a Slicer, and then you just pick which ones you want to add. Let's say I've been working with this for a while and I decide, you know what, I really don't like that quarterly one. I don't use it that much, and you want to get rid of a slicer. All you need to do to delete one is to click on the edge of the slicer and press delete, and it will be removed from your grouping.